Mm-mm-mm-mm. Hey, good people, and welcome to the cop. Welcome to. Oh, okay. We already know how this is starting off. Welcome to the Pop Culture Green Room. This is your host, Kimberly Bryant,
And this is Blair Bryant.
and we've got our special guest today with us. We've got Amber, who goes by Gossip Klass. Welcome, Amber.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I am super excited today. So we are going to get into some celebrity news, celebrity gossip, and a little bit of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills to start off with. And of course, this week we had was it Monday or was it Sunday that we had the Golden Globes?
Sunday Golden Globes last week. The Emmys were this past Sunday.
Emmys were okay. I don't know why I was getting them so confused. That's why, because they were just like so piled up
It's
on each
award
other.
season.
So I was, hmm yeah, oh yeah, that's what it was. But did any of y'all get to sit down and watch them?
I did not. I meant
I
to. I watched
didn't.
the Golden Globes in its entirety,
Me neither.
but the Emmys. I don't know. I think this is the kind of weekend it was. They just kind of went right past me, so I didn't keep up with them like I was hoping to. Unfortunately, um,
Right.
which I'm like kicking myself for that because I'm usually pretty up on that, especially being that I kind of started getting into watching movies again. And I've been enjoying that. The award
Yeah.
season's been pretty stacked this year.
Right. See, and that's kind of what happened with me too. Like I
Yeah, I didn't get to
forgot
watch
about.
them either.
You didn't get to watch them either? Yeah, and I think what happened is just like I think it was just too many award shows that kind of came like all into one. I've mostly paid attention to like the fashion, like the clothes and everything. And then I was all trying to figure out what was being said by by Kelly Teller to in a conversation with Taylor Swift and Selena Gomez. I was so entrenched in that I pretty much forgot what was going on and that whole thing. And but I did see so like for the Emmys, um, let's see here. It was like I know that the Niecy Nash had finally won, so that was pretty awesome. And that was exciting. And
Yeah.
she went for her role in Dahmer. I don't know if y'all saw Dahmer.
Mhm.
It was very, very dark. I don't think I'll see it again, but it was actually I thought it was really well done. She did great. She did a great job in that. So I thought that was well deserved. Did you see
I
Dahmer
heard it
by
was
chance,
dark.
Amber?
Dark. I didn't see it.
Yeah, I watched it. I thought it was
I
a
didn't see it.
interesting movie.
Mhm. It was, huh? It was interesting. It was very dark. It was definitely like one of those where I was kind of like, okay, yeah, that's a little wild. But it was yeah, it was well done. But like I said, I probably won't watch it again. But she definitely did deserve the win for that role. So that was interesting. And but yeah, I wish I did get to see it though. But what else is going on in celebrity news? I saw, oh yeah, I saw Madonna. Madonna's actually being sued. I cannot say I didn't see that coming. Did y'all hear about that? She's being sued by two concert goers because her
I
show
did.
started 2 hours late.
I did, yeah.
I'm like, but
Hmm.
people sue for everything these days, like any and everything. But it's like when you really look at it, 'cause I
I
think
can
at first it
agree.
was rumored that the target, I think it was almost rumored that I think the concert started, I think later than that, like about closer to like 3 or 4 hours later than 2 hours. But then it kind of like made sense when they said like what had happened and like some of the technical difficulties and all. But it's just like, come on. But for saying that she is, how old is she now? She's in her 60s, I know. But for saying that she's going at full force, just
Right.
like performing the way she is, it's like, I
It's not
mean, you
70.
got to give it to her. Yeah, oh yeah. It's just I mean, you've got to give it to her though. She keeps going and going. I was worried about her when at that time she got really sick because I didn't know
Oh,
like with her health issues. It's like I didn't know like what is she gonna come out of it? Like how's she gonna do? But she kept pushing herself. That's what worried me. But and I think she's got doesn't she have a really young boyfriend too? Or is it just Cher?
she did for a while. I don't know if they're still
I
together or
believe she
not, but
does. Yeah.
she probably still does. They could very well be together. I think he's like in his mid
Yeah,
to late
she might
20s,
be.
something like
Yeah.
that. He's young.
Yeah, I knew that. I remember she was dating a guy that was like super young. Yeah, that's how I couldn't remember if they were still
I've seen
together or
that.
not. But that's yeah, that's been very interesting and all. But and then I also saw too that of course Kim Kardashian, the girl, she's gold. Everything that family touches, like that's I think why I love her and Taylor Swift so much, especially Taylor Swift. For saying I wasn't a fan of her music because it just was never my vibe. I became a huge fan of the person of who she is and
Hmm.
like all that she's done. Like the girl's just like I mean, she everything she touches pretty much turns into gold. Kim, I would say this pretty much the same thing almost. But or is it more of everything that Kris Jenner touches comes turns into gold? I'm still trying to figure that part out. Is it more of
It's
it is it
funny
more
because
because
like
of Chris?
the only thing I can that's
Go
my recollection that Kris Jenner has touched that hasn't turned into gold was her own talk show.
You're right. You know what? That's so true. Did you ever watch her talk show, Amber, when she had it
Oh.
for a little bit?
Yeah, I forgot about that.
No, me too. I completely forgot about it until Blair had just mentioned it.
Yeah.
She sure
What
did. She had
didn't
her own
help
talk
was
show for,
I think only for like one
and that's
season, but
so
what didn't
true.
help was that it was syndicated only in certain areas, so a lot of people didn't get to watch it anyway.
Oh, was it? I didn't know that.
Yes, we
Yeah, I
Oh,
didn't
don't
even
think I
catch
ever
it where we
watched it.
lived. Yes, and I think
oh,
that's a
okay.
part of
I
the
didn't
reason that
realize.
didn't help. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense then. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was wondering about that because I remember it's like it was there one minute and then gone the next. But I really wasn't surprised because usually a lot of daytime talk shows is there it's hard for them to really kind of take off, I've noticed. But that makes sense though. I didn't realize that. Huh. Okay. That makes a big difference. A lot of
Mhm.
differences there though. But and I love that she's got Lana Del Rey doing her Valentine's Day campaign for Skims. I
Skims.
mean, think about it. Who could be? And she's like, I love Lana Del Rey.
I
She's like
didn't
so
see that.
different and unique. She's like, oh, what's that?
As I didn't
But
see that,
yeah,
but she had Lana Del Rey doing her Skims.
oh yeah. If you go online and
I
check
could
it
have
out,
said it.
I know. I think it was who did it. It was I think Variety magazine did an article about it. But yeah, she's her pictures look good. It's definitely it gives off a whole Lana Del Rey vibe. But no, it's really cool. She said she's been a fan of the of Skims for like a long time and all. So it's really neat. It's definitely different from her other campaigns, but I like it. It just shows like the versatility of it. So that's been pretty cool. And then oh, and did y'all hear about how Doja Cat's brother they had filed her mom filed a restraining order against him, but the courts are saying that Doja needs to
I
file a
did.
separate one. Mm-hmm. I know that's like so sad. That's like
I didn't see
horrible.
You
that.
know,
But
like yeah,
yeah, go on,
personally,
Blair.
it's to me it's very jarring, but also it's like upsetting because the fact that my own best friend just kind of like without getting too much into it, like it kind of shows what can happen if you don't like I'll just say her mom I'm sure did the right thing, and from what I heard about
Mhm.
what her brother has done, that
Oh, she
I think he said he
absolutely
knocked
did.
her Doja Cat's teeth out. Yes, like and
Mhm.
I think he punched her or something like that. And just kind of like know what people can do, even to their own siblings. You have to like say something or report them, no matter
Yeah.
what, because yeah, because I mean, like just kind of given what happened with my own best friend, with her brother, that it's yeah, that's something that I take that kind of thing seriously, because like I'm glad that Doja
Mhm.
Cat's mom's taking the right precautions in having a restraining order against him, but she needs to get one against her brother as well, I believe, because that can go
Right.
from bad to worse like really fast. And yes, and that's like one of the first things I thought about when I heard about that. It's just so upsetting, and I'm
Oh, I'm
hoping that
sure.
they can stay as far away from it as they can, and that they
Yeah,
and that he
definitely.
actually and that he actually obeys the order, which I don't get the impression that he would because he sounds a bit unhinged.
Yeah, that's the scary part
But
about it. But
definitely
no,
because
like you're
it's
right.
not a good
Unfortunately,
situation.
from yeah, no, it is. It is. It's a very sad situation. Like you said, from firsthand experience, because you went through something I don't ever want to go through. I'm not going to say what it was because you didn't say what
Yeah,
happened. But anyway, it was just yeah, that was bad. But like, I'm glad that they are taking the proper steps and everything. But it's so wild. It's like you see that people become famous and they'll like they run into the same problems that other people, normal people have, and it's
Oh,
just
for sure.
it's funny. Like money and fame, they don't stop things. They don't stop violence. They don't stop bullets. They don't stop um stalking. A lot of things it doesn't stop. But that was pretty scary, pretty scary, and everything. But oh geez. But other news that I saw Kylie. Kylie's rocking a pink hair again. Kylie Jenner. So she's back. It looks like she's back in
Yeah, it
her
looks like
King
there's
Yeah,
got
I've
a
Kylie
seen
era.
that.
that's what people are saying. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I like
I
it though. I
like
like
it.
it.
I think I
I'm
mean,
glad
it's
it's better
interesting.
than the green. Mhm.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
better than a
definitely.
green.
I wasn't a fan of the green
Mhm,
either. I wasn't really a fan of it.
mm, no,
The
she.
pink's more
Now I
becoming.
think she pulled the green off. I think she pulled it off, but I wasn't a fan of it. I didn't like it. I do like the pink. Do y'all think it has? Do y'all think that her bringing it back has something to do with Timothy Chalamet with her dating him? Do y'all think
I
so?
think so. I do, because it's
You
like,
think so?
well, I mean,
Possible.
thinking back to the women that he's attracted to, because a lot of people don't
Mhm.
realize. I think that they were kind of thinking that,
Yeah,
that look at him as a like art house, dream, man, pixie dream boy, and like, but and it's like, I think they imagine him being with a girl who's like that too. But
Yeah, yeah.
he's always been to like the Instagram baddie types. So
Which, yeah.
yeah, I think it's Kylie kind of leaning back, and that was when she was really in that era, like with the whole King Kylie era
Mhm.
with that, and so I think that it'll make him happier because I feel like she's been kind
Yeah.
of a bit more demure as of late. She's been with him. To me, it just doesn't really
Mhm.
feel that authentic. This does. This feels more like her.
It's
And
funny that. Mhm.
go ahead.
No, it's funny that you say that and that you think that because I don't know how you feel, Amber, but to me, the more I like from thinking back to watching Life with Kylie, because I feel like that's where we got to know her the most, which she's like a lot more like down to earth and stuff than I thought she was. Like, and it really surprised me like
yeah.
watching her because I was like, oh wow, she like really is kind of like normal in a way, like the things that she was like into and that she would mostly not do like a whole lot. But, she would have to do things to keep up, like, public appearances and everything, but, like, me just seeing who she is and the kind of quirky person that she actually is to the core, now her and
Mhm.
Timothy make more sense to me than her and Travis did,
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
I can
I
see
think
that
so.
because she's got a lot more personality than what she shows and puts on.
Mhm. Yeah, and I feel like he brings out more of that,
Yeah, I noticed
energy
she
with her.
started wearing less makeup too.
Yeah, you noticed
Do
that
you
too?
notice
I
that? I
did
did
notice
notice
that.
that, yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
Uh-huh.
kinda like a little more
But
understated.
I'm like, if she's yeah, definitely. I'm like, if she's happy, I'm happy for her. So that's good there. But I like seeing that. I feel like the real her is like starting to emerge because I feel like when she was with
Yeah,
Travis Scott, I feel like that was more of like her trying to like kind of go along the lines of like Kim, and Chloe, like her sisters. I feel like she was trying to like
Mhm.
almost not really coming into her own so much, but almost following their lead, if that makes any sense. That's kind of like what
right.
the impression I was kind of getting
Mhm.
And it
and
seems kinda like she's
seeing.
not
But
afraid to be
yeah,
herself now.
hmm yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. Definitely. So, oh, yeah. Amber, you have any other topics, any news stuff that you saw that caught your attention?
Did y'all see about the Scott Peterson thing?
Yes. And I'm so glad you brought that up. Yeah. So that's wild. So now it looks like the Innocence Project is interested in reopening, not like they're pushing to get an appeal. Is that right? They're trying to get his case appealed, I believe,
Yeah,
to try to
I'm
go,
stunned
yeah,
by
go
that.
back to trial.
yeah. They
And it's okay. Go ahead.
I think he did it. I said I think he definitely
I
did
think he
it,
did it
but it's
too.
interesting that they're
Oh,
opening it.
mhm. Right, exactly. That is
And
one
then they,
case,
like,
like,
never found
no
her
matter what.
head.
Yeah, it's like that's the thing, and I honestly believe that he did it. Like, that's the one thing that, like, I think no matter what, and I've, like, listened to, Reality Life with Kate Casey. I went and listened back to an episode that she had on, she had a psychic on there back in 2017. I listened to that episode, and then, like, even her recent one and just some other news stories and everything I've been looking at, but even with the circumstantial evidence that they're finding now, the things that are coming out that they were, like, inadmissible in court, it's like, even with that all put together, I still think he did it. I still think he did not. Now, it
Oh
is
yeah.
possible, because while things do happen, it could very well be possible that it was a coincidence that he just happened to be in the same lake or whatever that her body washes up on, which I really don't think so. And then they had the robbery or whatever across the street. Now they're trying to say that the guys who committed the robbery actually had abducted and killed her. So that's what their theory is. But I don't know. There's just too many things about Scott Peterson, and then what they found in his possession is
Yeah.
just it's like, I think, yeah, he's a shitty dude, but not only is he a shitty dude, but I think he's a killer too. So there was just too much. He didn't seem like he was scared and frantic when they were looking for her. And I'm sorry, but he ran away. He was trying to run to Mexico, or didn't he cross? I think he almost crossed the border, and he, like, bleached his hair and had all this. It's like, come on. I
Yeah, I
feel like
think
some
he
people,
was
I think
close.
they're trying to, yeah, yeah. I feel like they're just trying to reach and just to find something, but you can almost do that, really, when you think about it, with almost every case. You can, and that's, I guess, why people go to trial, because people can be proven guilty or not guilty. But my mind will, that's something that my mind, I think, will never change on. I think he did it, and I think he's guilty, and I think he needs to stay locked up. That is my
I hope he doesn't
opinion.
get a new trial, and oh, sorry, I hope he doesn't get a new trial, and I hope that if he does get one, that he's found guilty again. Just because I mean, like, kind
Mhm.
of again, kind of sort of circling back to the previous story with my friend and her situation that happened with her, that I've seen, like, firsthand, that where someone looks like they have, like, a good bit of evidence against them, and the case is either dismissed or the perpetrator gets off, and it's like, I mean, I don't
Mhm.
wish that on anybody, and I really don't want her family to have to go through
Yeah.
this again.
Yeah, just Blair, just briefly, just because I feel like people are gonna, like, that are listening, because it seems like there's, like,
Yeah, I mean,
sort of
that's yeah, I
holes
don't
there.
mind talking about it, that's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just briefly, just
no, it's fine, but,
yeah,
like,
explain what happened. Yeah, you don't have to go to like
yeah, like, I'm
specific
best
details, but
friend
just kind of like,
yeah. Yes, yes, like, my best friend went missing, like, a couple about a day or 2 a few years ago, like, right before the pandemic happened, right before everybody shut down for quarantine, and she was found, shot to death in the trunk of her car, and it was one of her own siblings who did it, and they found her sibling, like, on a run from the cops, out of state, the day of her funeral about a week later, and her family worked with the DA's office to get the cases dropped against him, and yeah.
Oh, wow.
yeah,
It's
that was
yeah, and
horrible.
so that's kind of what I was thinking about the whole thing with Doja Cat, and like Kim said, it made sense for me to just to kind of explain it, because it was a situation where, like, she apparently lived in fear of him, and not many
Mhm.
people really knew this, and we kind of pieced it together because she didn't really say anything, because I think she didn't want to worry anybody, because that was her personality, and it's like we wish she would have, because there were changes in her behavior, and that she just seemed like off, and just like something wasn't right, and that she was in fear of him, obviously, and fear and not wanting to go home, because she lived with him and her mom, and she wasn't fear. She didn't want to go home, like, obviously, whenever, like, unless her mom was there. So the only thing I could figure is that he was
Yeah.
probably threatening her or something, but that, or he probably tried it before, and maybe he wasn't successful the first time. That's the only thing I can figure, but a lot of that's still, like, a shroud of mystery around it, but it's like, and I'm just
Mhm.
kind of hoping that's what kind of made me think about the whole Lacey Peterson thing also, is that, like, I don't wanna see a situation where he gets off scot-free, because that's kinda like what happened in a sense with my friend, because
Right.
um, it's like, for whatever reason, I guess it was like quite a few things that happened, but also don't feel like that it was investigated properly enough, in my opinion, because I feel like that
No, I don't
there
think
seemed
so
like there
either.
was clear enough evidence that he did it, and there was even surveillance footage of, him with her car and everything, and when he dropped it off and drove off and walked away from it, and still he still got away with it, and it's been
Yeah, it blows my
infuriating
mind,
that
but I blame that on
yeah.
I definitely blame that on the the DA in New Orleans. So that's my opinion on that. But yeah, no, it makes sense. You definitely have like a valid point there. So it's so wild though. I'm like, can he possibly go back on trial for this whole murder? And it's crazy to me that like I can't believe it was that long ago. It's been since 2002. It's so wild. I can't believe it's been that many years now. But
That's
yeah,
insane, I know,
that
'cause I feel like
is
it didn't happen long ago.
mhm. Yeah, oh I know. Yeah, definitely, definitely. So that I know
I
has
believe
been
he went
going
on
on
trial
and
in '05.
I think yeah, I believe so. I think you're right. I think it was yeah, 2005 he went on trial, but it's just
That
it's
sounds
so
about
crazy.
right.
It's
Yeah,
like
'cause
time
it's the
flies
last couple
by. Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah, time flies by, like, so much stuff happens. It's like it's oh gosh, it's nuts. It is insane, and I know, and okay, I'm gonna go back to Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce because their relationship just fascinates me because you literally
Mhm.
see the universe just aligning for them to like, for everything to work out in their favor and to come together the way it did there, but I actually found out that it was actually her
Mhm.
cousin set them up. It was like he's like her second
Really?
cousin set them up. I think he was a second or third cousin. I think his second cousin that she's close to that actually set them up, and he's friends with Travis Kelce, and that's how that whole thing came about. So it
I
was
had no
actually
idea.
fascinating. I actually liked that. I liked hearing that as opposed to it wasn't like her publicist and his publicist,
Yeah,
work that out
exactly.
and they yeah, I've actually liked hearing that. That was really interesting. I was like, "That's so cool," because I was really curious about that, but I think she's secretly engaged. I think they're secretly engaged, but they're going to wait to announce it. That's what
I
I
wouldn't
think.
doubt it.
Mhm. That is my theory on that, but yeah,
I
it's
think
just
they're
so funny.
definitely
It's
gonna
I
get
never thought it
married.
would be Mhm. Oh, yeah. I think so. I think they're gonna get married, have babies. Because I mean, she's accomplished so much. I mean, he's not retiring out of the NFL yet. Jason's retiring, but Um, I feel that she's accomplished so much, and I mean, they're both what, 34 years old? I think it's what's gonna happen. They're gonna get married and start a family and all that. So I'm happy for them. That's
I
good.
didn't
They
see
give
that.
they give me hope.
Yeah.
Oh my
Oh, it's
gosh.
changed.
It's that's mhm. But I'm curious as okay. So which that's going to let me and speaking of relationships, I am ready to segue into Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So I like just watching the chemistry between Mauricio and Kyle on film, it's like, I mean,
I like
they
the
both seem to be just checked out of that
okay.
relationship.
I agree. They
Mhm.
are it's pretty awkward. It's
Yeah, she
kind of like
definitely is. They don't like each other
it feels
anymore.
pretty jarring watching
Mhm.
them, like, don't you
Yeah.
think so? It's just yeah, it's hard to watch, which is sad because it's like I love them together, for the longest time, and
Uh-huh.
just
Yeah.
life
It
happens.
blows my mind. What was her name again? Alison Dubois, the sidekick. When
Oh,
she
yes, I forgot
was
about that.
Mhm.
wasn't it season 1 that she did that reading and she said she had her
No.
little electronic cigarette and she's
Mhm.
like puffing and she basically predicted the whole thing and and you see it playing out and it's so eerie and I'm like, "Oh
Yeah,
my gosh." Like I believe in psychics to begin with, but that was just like it's wild. I wonder if she ever thought that years later it would come to fruition. I'm probably sure she already knew it was going to. I think she just kind of left it alone and
right.
then all of a sudden
Yeah,
it's
I'm pretty
like
sure she
all this stuff
probably knew
happens.
then.
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's what I'm
Mhm.
thinking. But it's just it's so wild because that's exactly what happened.
Crazy.
It's like basically the kids grew up and then they don't really have much in common, and it's like you could tell that he's not giving her everything that she wants and she needs, so it's just it's fascinating to me, but
Mhm.
yeah, like, that's been sad, but, and,
And
but yeah, I definitely
Kyle
there's no way
said
her and
that
Morgan are not together. Mhm, but, Morgan, I think she and Morgan are definitely together.
I
There's
think so
mhm.
too.
like,
Yeah.
there's no other way to put it. It's like and I mean, that's fine or whatever, but it's kind of like I don't know if they're hiding it to hide it because they just weren't ready. But then I look at all these things that were going on, plus the music video, and it's like I don't know if they were just waiting for a storyline. I have no idea. I don't know, but it's interesting because I've never seen. two best friends or close friends like act like they're in like a full on relationship. It's
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know.
Feed
It
each
is
other
interesting to me.
cantaloupe.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's and then how what was interesting was like was it Garcelle who noticed the rings at first? I would have never noticed that. I think it was Garcelle that
Yeah.
noticed the
Mhm.
rings, and then how
I
they
wouldn't have noticed
both
that
No,
pretty
I
much had
either.
like
wouldn't have.
yeah, like the same rings. And then how she then Kyle wasn't wearing
Her wedding
her
ring.
I guess engagement ring from Mauricio or whatever, and she was wearing another ring that looks identical to the one that Morgan wears, and it's just so much. There's so many things there, and I'm also curious. I'm like, because PK and Dorita heard, are they still like supposedly separated?
I haven't heard anything about that lately, but I wouldn't doubt
PK
it
and
if that
Dorit.
yes.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I heard that they were separated, that they weren't like living together. And I want to say, was it was one of these podcasts I was listening to, and they were talking about it and discussing it. But I think that for a minute they've kind of been like living separately. And I think a lot of it could deal with the it might have to do with the finances and the lawsuit. I have no idea, but that's when I had noticed it. I was like, oh man, I was like, that was a bad lawsuit because I forgot that house they lived in before was a lot bigger than the one that they are in now. And then I noticed that they said like she's cut back on like costs, glam, things of that nature. And then the whole the robbery thing, it's still a little suspect to me, but this is why. I
Yeah.
feel like, if anything, I feel like she didn't have anything to do with it and was unaware of it. But honestly, I could see it doesn't surprise me, and I could actually see PK like um having some kind of knowledge or involvement with setting that up as an insurance scam. I could kind of
I
see
can
that.
see
I
it
don't know about
too.
y'all.
I
He
can.
just gives me
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
those
can.
vibes.
Wasn't
Mhm. And then what was the whole thing? Did
wasn't
somebody
there
case
something
her in, like, a
else too that
grocery
was
store?
suspect in that time?
Yeah, there was. It was the grocery store. She was shopping, and she said she had it was in, like, $10,000, I think, in
Oh,
cash in
yes.
her
Yeah.
purse,
Mhm, and it was stolen.
and everyone's like, "What was she doing with
Oh, yeah.
$10,000 worth of cash in her purse?" But me personally, because years ago, I worked at a bank for a little bit, and that didn't surprise me. I noticed a lot of people, especially a lot of wealthy people, they would go to the bank and get out lots of cash, especially during the holidays, like for Christmas. That's what they would use for gifts, like to hand out as gifts. So it didn't really surprise me. I didn't find it that far fetched that she had that amount of cash on her, like around Christmas in her possession, and I wasn't that surprised by it. But it was just the way it was kind of like I don't know, just the way it's just kind of like cased this in a store and everything. People were like, "Was this set up
Yeah.
or was it?" I don't know. I don't know. That whole thing like remains a
Kinda
mystery.
weird
But
to, like, walk away from your basket though, if you know in your purse you have that kind of cash in there, you know?
see,
And I feel like that
that's the thing
in a
that
store like Target, they have a lot of security cameras and good security cameras.
Mhm.
Somebody should have caught something.
Yeah, and it was one of those. It was like one of those fancy grocery stores. I think she was in. Like I
I
don't
think it
think
was
it was.
Target, she said.
What's it? Is it? Oh wait, what?
I feel like it was Target.
Oh, was it Target?
I'm almost positive
Oh,
she
I
said it
don't
was
know. I haven't.
Target. I could be wrong, but I'm almost positive it was Target.
Oh, maybe it was. It could have very well been. I don't know why I was thinking it was like a store. Like, what is it that store they all go to? Is it Air? What's it
Air
called?
One?
Erewhon? Erewhon? Yeah,
Air
I was
One?
thinking maybe it was. Yeah, it was like
Air One.
one of those or something like it. Yeah, which that's a store I really want to
Yeah, if
go
I had
into.
10,000 in my
The next
purse,
time I
I'd
go to
get
LA, I
into
want to go
it.
scope it out and go check it out.
Right.
I'm curious about it, but it's been interesting. And then, of course, like I don't know about y'all, but I am so tired of the esophaguses, and I've never been
Oh
so
gosh.
drained about talking about a body, a body part. It's just Anne Marie. I think she needs to go. I think she was reaching way too hard. And I don't know if she was doing it for
Mhm.
storyline purposes, but I don't know. But it's kind of embarrassing when the
Yeah.
American it's what is it? That's the American Society of Anesthesiologists. I think that's what it's called. When they made a statement on their Instagram page, because at first I was doing some digging to see if it was like actually legit, or if it was one of those things that somebody had gone and made a page to kind of like make it look like it's official, but it looks like it actually is a real thing after I looked at it. 'Cause I looked at they had some posts from like a while back. So and they're even clapping back at her, but that's I'm like, oh Lord. It's like it's just it's a mess. And I feel bad for Sutton because it's like good googly moogly. But I did like that Tiffany Moon that used to be on Dallas, Real Housewives of Dallas, that spoke up and said something. And then Nicole from Miami
Mhm.
made mention of it. And so it's kind of like, girls, sit down. But do y'all think she'll be back next season? I don't think so.
Oh, I don't think so, no. She already crashed and burned too
No, and her
fast.
husband was accused of, sexually assaulting somebody.
That part, he
Really? I didn't know
was. That's
that.
right. Yeah, she came forward years later and she said that he sexually assaulted her. And honestly, it's like I'm one of those people I'll always like I am number one because I do support. I'm like one of those people. I'm like women support women. I'm one of those people. I do believe the victim. But however, it's like to me, like his true colors came to light when she started saying how her husband told her that she's an 8. Okay, if I was married
Yeah.
and my husband told me that I was an 8 or not to be below a 10, okay, that marriage wouldn't even be happening because I'm gonna be with someone who thinks the world of me, who
None.
thinks I am the end all, the be all, the
Yeah,
most beautiful thing
exactly.
on that walks the the
The
face of the planet. And
12.
he told her that that was horrible. He told her her body was a 9, but everything else about her was an 8. And I'm like, I don't know. I feel like she was reaching. She's reaching for something. I feel like she's reaching for validation. And I think a lot of it's probably because of her husband and his character. So that's why it's like I definitely believe 100% what happened. And it'll be interesting. So I'm wondering if that things are being I'm sure law enforcement's looking into that. That's the one thing I've noticed about reality TV, that when things happen and people come on reality TV, law enforcement doesn't exactly sit back. They actually they do their work and they dig in and look at everything. Look what happened with Jen Shaw, but they've actually, I think, been on a Jen Shaw, I think, since before she was on Real Housewives. My understanding. I could be wrong though, but I think they were on her before that, before she was on there. But it's like, oh my gosh. But yeah, I think she's gonna be like Diane Jenkins, one and done, because that she didn't
That
go
is me
over
now.
too well. Oh, not
It was
well
like
at
someone
all
jumping
though.
on a
But
parachute and forgetting to pull the strap to let the
mhm.
parachute out.
Yeah, to pull the cord, yeah. She just boom, crashed right into the ground. Yeah, it's been bad. So it'll be interesting to see if she comes back. I doubted that she will come back, and I wonder if they're going to try and fill her role. I feel like they're not going to. I think if she's gone, that they're just going to leave her gone. I don't think they'll. I don't see them bringing anybody back. Who I think they should have brought back was Will Smith's ex-wife. What was her name again? Um,
I don't
gosh, why am I
remember right
forgetting her
off
name?
I forgot.
because
And
she's
she
really
was
good friends
basically
with
Was it
like
Garcelle,
Cherie?
yeah. Cherie, yes, you're right. Cherie, yes.
yeah, that's it. Yep, Shuri. That's it. Yep, it is. That's it,
Yeah.
Shuri.
I would have liked to have
I
seen
thought
her as
she
a
was
full-time
great.
housewife too. Oh, you
Yeah, I
know
thought she
what
was
I'm
great. That's why I was
guessing?
surprised.
Maybe they probably
Mhm.
I'm probably thinking she's not on this episode this season. Probably laying low 'cause after that whole Will Smith slap thing. Like, it
Oh.
might seem a little far-fetched, but it's like, he still hasn't recovered from that. So
That
I'm
makes a
thinking
lot of
everybody might
sense.
be a
I could see that.
possibility.
That does I could see that. That makes a lot of sense because they're
I mean,
really
even though I feel
close,
like they're
from my understanding.
yeah, oh, yeah. They are, and I feel like that from, I think they're just married young, but because from what I understand is that it's
Mhm,
like, I mean, there are a lot of celebrities who've done way worse and who, you know,
mhm.
have even got off with a slap on the wrist, but it's like, it seems like it's still paying for it, you know, and so I'm kinda thinking that I wouldn't doubt if
Right.
maybe that's a part of the reason why we don't see her because maybe she's kinda laying low and not wanting to be on camera right now, or she doesn't want them to talk about it, which I can understand because you know if a woman's gonna bring up the first thing they saw whenever we see her, you know, and she probably doesn't want this to be a
Mhm.
story. I can see it happening, but it's just a theory.
Oh, it makes sense. That's a great theory. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense to me. Any thoughts from you? Theories on that, Amber?
Um, on the Anna Marie, her husband actually had the lady had filed something against him in '95 that I guess it was never really taken seriously.
Oh.
Oh, did
So,
she
it
file a
wasn't
po was it a
something
police
new.
report? Oh, that's right. You know what? You
I
are
think she
right
filed
because it
something
was
with the
something that
college.
oh, that's right, 'cause that's right, it was on campus, wasn't it? It was whenever they were in school. I think you're right, I think it was through, like, the police department
Mhm.
on campus. I believe so. I'm gonna have to look into that a little bit more, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it was. I think you're right. Yeah, that was just wild. It's been but yeah, Beverly Hills this season's been interesting, and then the whole thing with Garcelle and Dorit. Oh my god, I felt for Garcelle because I could see clearly that Dorit wasn't getting it, and it was I think that it was just one of those things that I was glad to see that Erica had a lot of awareness of what was going on, but Dorit was just still like Dorit's in her own bubble. That's the way I see it. Dorit's in her bubble. She's gonna stay in her bubble. But I think it's for a lot of things. But I noticed that she always had just her micro her microaggressions was just bright as day when it came to Garcelle, like, all the time, but and just even when they showed back at the clips and when she made the comments, so she was like, my mom's best friend's black," and she's like, "Well, basically our staff and are like are of color, the staff help at her house," and it's like, other than that, she was pretty much like, "No," like, she didn't have any friends, like, that were, of color or black, and it was just and it was just it's kind of like my whole thing was that people were saying that, "No, it is Garcelle's job to teach her." The reason why I said it's not Garcelle's job to teach her is because Garcelle is obviously drained from Dorit, because even when you see from the past, from, like, years and years of all that stuff going on and the comments that were coming out of Dorit's mouth, it's like you get drained and tired of trying to explain things to someone or explain it over and over again,
Yeah.
and it's like she's always been it's like Dorit was always she would bully her a lot. She really did, like, compared to other women, it's like she would go
Yeah.
hard for Garcelle, and it's kind of like, enough's enough, because 'cause I'm not gonna sit there and wanna teach somebody who's not, willing to open. Did you see the huge difference between whenever Kyle met up with Garcelle, with the whole auction mishap that happened with the money that Garcelle had
Yeah.
donated, and at first Kyle said she didn't, do it. Kyle, like, listened, and her eyes were open, and she was just like, "Oh my god." She's like, "Now I realize the impact of it." But it's like Dorit just refuses. Everything's like a rebuttal, or I don't know. It's just Dorit is who she is, and it's oh my gosh. I was just
At
kind of
least they're
over
always
that, but
talking
I'm glad.
bad people instead of listening ever.
Mhm.
Sorry.
No, no, it's true though. You're right. You can
Mhm.
go on, but
It's usually it's kinda like I feel like Dorit reminds me of one of those people, she loves to hear herself talk, and loves to hear
yeah,
herself
yeah.
talk over everybody, and loves to be right all the
Yeah.
time, and I think that's a lot of that. And it's like it's like there's a time and a place for everything, but then also it's kinda like there's certain circumstances where you really need to just sit back and listen, and she does not do
Mhm.
that well.
Yeah, no, no, not at all. Oh, you're right. Yeah, she doesn't. Not at all. And then now it's like Kyle's saying that they actually really weren't as close as she was thinking that they were. So I did feel for her there, though. I did feel for her because I can understand where I would be upset too. It's like
Mhm.
if you think you're a closer friend to someone, then they actually see you. I can see how that can sting and that could be hurtful. But Kyle was basically like, we actually really aren't all that close. And I think she said that they've only been on one trip together, according to Kyle, but all the other trips they've been on have been like group trips with the cast. And she's saying
Yeah.
and she's basically saying that she and Dorit really weren't as close as they were. But I think I kind of think that so I do feel for Dorit in that sense that she thought that things were stronger than and she had a stronger bond and friendship with Kyle than she thought. But I don't know, but maybe like but Kyle not drinking and stuff and her sobriety, it makes her see things and see life a whole lot differently than she used to. So Very
That makes sense.
interesting.
What I was thinking too is
Yeah, it
that I see
reminded
both
me
sides of
of
it because
Mhm.
okay.
like
I think
seeing
my computer's a little behind y'all. It reminded me of when,
No, yeah, I know we're trying to.
Rachel
I
and
think it's
and,
our connection too on this
I'm
end.
sorry?
It's okay.
what were we saying, Amber?
It reminded me of Rachel and Sheena or Raquel.
Oh yes.
Oh,
Because I remember, I think
that's so
didn't Raquel
true.
say that the whole thing like we weren't really that close, but they really were best friends.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I think it's what upset Sheena even more
Mhm.
so. You're right. Oh, that's so true. Oh my
See that,
gosh,
yeah, so
yeah.
with
Oh my
Marita,
goodness.
I kind of see both sides of it because in on one hand, I definitely could see how it can sting when you honestly think that you are just as when I honestly think you're really close to somebody. But on the other hand, I
Yeah,
always kind of felt like their friendship, a lot of it was uh Dorit really trying to get in with the cool girl or the cool crowd and kept trying to like
yeah.
trying to make, be almost like, I want to stand out to Kyle. I want to try to impress her. Like I want her to pick me. I want her to be like, it felt very much like that and just kind of wanting to insert herself.
Pick me. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, that's what I kind of, and I think that Kyle was, today was kind of like, no, we're not really that close. Cause I think it was Dorit in her mind. She wanted it to be that way and was trying to, but it just didn't land. And Kyle, I think, probably didn't feel like it was really that authentic and just therefore didn't feel that close to her. That's what I'm kind of thinking. Whereas Dorit, she probably had every intention of being close to her, probably thought she was, but it's kind of like that maybe Kyle just didn't really, I think Kyle just probably just wasn't really picking up what she was putting down, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that completely
Mhm.
makes sense. That I can see that. It's just, and I think also too, I think the men, but men generally, they just bond to men always bond better than women do, I find, and they're always a lot less messy. They're just men just aren't really that messy and dramatic. Like they can like get into it like 10 minutes later, and then like 10 minutes later, a lot of times they'll be like, let's let bygones be bygones and just move on. But women, it's always with women, it's always like, I'll forgive, but I'll never forget. And so so it could
Mhm.
be too. I think that she saw that Mauricio. I think she could have seen Mauricio and PK's bond, and that they actually seems like they have like a pretty good, solid, legitimate friendship because people would often see them together, like
Oh, for
even like
sure.
off camera, with hanging out and stuff and kicking it. So I so it would make sense to me. I could see why Dorit probably thought that they were closer than what they were. But like I said too, it's like when people
Yeah, it
become
makes
sober,
sense.
a lot of times, like, and I don't even think Kylie even had a drinking problem. I think she just felt like alcohol just wasn't serving her anymore because that's what she said. But and she just didn't feel great after drinking. But I think she just doesn't feel that way. Then I think too, having Morgan in her life, I think is just she's wanting to just kind of like, I don't know. I'm curious. I'm curious to see like I'm waiting for the announcement because I refuse to believe anything else. That they're a couple. They're together in my mind. Change our mind, but
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't
for
think you can change your mind on that one. Stand on, stand by it.
No, her and Morgan are
sure.
way
Right.
more compatible than her and Mauricio.
At this point,
Right?
oh, yeah,
100.
absolutely.
Oh my gosh, and it's like they make sense. It's just well, like even just watching their chemistry, like whenever she went and got the tattoos and stuff, and I'm like, that is not just a friendship. I'm
Mm-mm.
like I'm
No.
like that the way she was acting is how I would act
Mm-mm.
when I was around like a dude that I was dating or that I was like into. I'm like, I was like, that is not yeah, that is not just a close friendship. Or maybe, I mean, but then again, too, I also have to look at the fact that her lifelong best friend committed suicide. And maybe that could have had
Yeah.
obviously that had a major impact on her, but maybe it could have had an impact on her like no other, because everybody grieves
It can
differently and
happen, yeah.
handles things differently.
Mhm.
And so
Yeah.
that just occurred to me. I never really even thought about that till just now. So maybe that could be it. Maybe there's just so many things, so many
Yes, we lose
plots and
someone
theories.
that close to you in such an astronomical way. It shatters your whole world in the way you view things and the way you feel, and so you could very well be right.
Yeah, very well could be. Amber, have you heard any other things, like any rumblings or anything about like their marriage or about Kyle and Morgan? I'm hoping that they actually are together because I'm like, I just want to know more about it. Like how it really did.
Me too.
I mean, we already know how they met, but I'm just yeah, more details.
I think Cal would definitely be happier with Morgan than she has been with Mauricio.
I can see that.
Me
And I
too.
thought it was
I agree.
interesting.
And
I think I'm running
like
behind
one
again.
thing, yeah. Yes, okay. But my thing I found interesting about it too is her relationship with Kathy. How all of a sudden they're like on a mend and
Yes.
they're close again, because
Oh yeah,
Kathy
they're
never
very
she
close
didn't like
now.
she didn't like
Mhm.
Mauricio, and I noticed how happy she like is around Kyle all of a sudden now, and how they're together and stuff, and
Mhm.
that it's kind of like I think
Mhm.
it's almost like it's like better you than Mauricio, like I think she's like that towards Morgan. So yeah, I think that
And that makes sense. It's probably
I
why
think we're
she's
seeing
like
that.
warmed up to her and seems to like her so much. But also Morgan seems very likable.
She does, yeah, more than I thought she would have been. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like her personality a lot more than I thought I would. So yeah, that makes that's interesting. So it'll be interesting to see. But like I said, like I just seeing her and Mauricio together right now is just it honestly it kind of turns my stomach like into knots. Actually, it makes
Yeah.
me
Mhm.
uncomfortable. It makes me really uncomfortable because it's just that connection, all that's just not there, and I feel like they just need to go
It's
their
like they're
separate ways.
trying too
And
hard to
like
be together.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. I think, hmm yeah, and it's like, do you think they did that like all these years to put up over front, or do you think they like actually just are really drifting apart? What are y'all thoughts?
I think they're actually drifting apart and that they're just trying to
I don't
like
think it
Mhm.
was a front the whole time.
I don't think it's I don't either. But I think it's
Yeah,
just that I think just the way things have been as of late, just they just grew apart, and
yeah, it's just so wild.
I
It's
think
like
maybe her and her
it's
friend were really close,
yeah, they
and her
mhm.
were.
passing away made her realize that she's not that close to Mauricio as she had thought.
I can see it happening.
Mhm.
And then she found
And I feel
Morgan,
like
who she
that's yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and I think they said to Lorene that I think she didn't even see it coming because some people
Oh,
can
yeah,
hide that really
she was
well.
completely yeah, she was completely shocked. She said, like, didn't have any kind of clue, idea, like, nothing. She didn't show any signs, so that's why she was completely blindsided, and I do remember she said the last thing like, one of the last things that she told her was that she wanted her to work on her marriage, like, to
Take care
Mauricio,
of the
like, she said
marriage,
she
yeah.
didn't want her to, like
Mm.
yeah, and I'm like, "Oh, man." It's just like it's sad, it's like, at the point, it's like, what do you do? It's like, do you, like,
Yeah,
try to honor, like, your dead friend's wishes, or do you do what you need to do that makes you happy? And honestly, I think she needs to do what makes her happy. But
right.
but to me, that was the telltale sign. There was like whenever Mauricio wasn't even there at that event, it was like kind of like a was it a fundraiser? Like it was like a fundraiser, a
Mhm.
memorial, or whatever it was, like for like in her
It
friend's
was
memory, and he
memorial.
didn't go. Yeah,
Yeah, like a
yeah, and
memorial, remembrance, celebration of life.
yeah, but he didn't say he didn't go, he was in Mexico, but he was there for the gala,
Yeah.
the oh gosh, what the homeless not
Almost not
toothless. No,
toothless.
that is huh? Is that homeless not toothless? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Did I say it right?
Yeah. Almost not toothless, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
who comes up with a oh my gosh, it's like, why can't you have, like, an organization or, like,
Mhm.
a charity that, like, helps homeless people get on their feet and, like, get the
It's
proper
like
care, like, get
it's like,
mental
can't
health
give them too much
care.
dignity.
It's like just from listening to Reality Bites podcast, they were talking about it. It was the whole thing was it's like they brought up a good point. I think it was either Lauren or EP that had said it on Reality Bites on that podcast. And y'all go take a listen to that. I love them. They're pretty awesome. But it's like they're like LA's hard to live in to begin with. It's super expensive, but it's like So you're gonna have a bunch of homeless people running around with like gorgeous smiles and great smiles and grills, but you're not gonna help them get and like try to get on their feet and get them home. Like, when it's but the sad thing is, it seems like it's such the LA thing to do.
It does. It's kind of like
Yeah.
it's like we don't even have a
Like, no,
house, but
look
we can
like
have you some. It's like we can have you look like they said we want you to live in a house, but we can have you looking like Mr. Ed like the rest of us.
yeah.
What is
It's-
that place?
Oh my
They
god.
look like Skid Row. Could you imagine? They all have like gorgeous teeth on Skid Row.
Right, exactly. Well, that's the whole thing, Amber. Those are my thoughts. Like, just when I was hearing about that whole thing, and I was like, "What in the world?" It's like that's exactly what I was thinking. It's like you're gonna walk around and see all these people with these beautiful, blinged out, nice
Radiant smiles.
veneers in their mouths, whatever it is. But they're homeless, and it's kind of like it's just I feel like something's missing. There's a total disconnect with that. Who started that foundation or charity? I don't even know who
Somebody
started
Dory's
and founded
friends with.
it. Oh god. Oh my gosh. Oh jeez. It's like the more I'm like really thinking about it. It's one of those. It's the oh Lord. Oh my gosh. Oh goodness. That is interesting. So are we when is when is the season finale? I think we've got a few more episodes before that comes.
I think
Am I
so.
right?
Yes,
For
I think
Beverly
so.
Hills? 'Cause I think we're just in the middle of it. I think.
They still haven't even going to
You know, I
Portugal
think
yet.
Was episode
oh, that's
12.
right.
Not Portugal, Spain.
Yeah. So
Oh,
they still
Spain, yeah.
So I don't know
yeah,
how
they
many
still have a
episodes.
little ways to go. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't remember how many episodes that they usually have, but I think they usually have what, close to 20 of them, don't
I
they?
think so. I think they might have like 18, I think, or something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think you're right. So you're right. They haven't even taken
Yeah,
that
I
trip
think
yet.
usually
You know
like
what it is? I'm
16
getting
to 18.
yeah, I think so. I think you're right. I think so. I believe so. You know what it is? I think I'm getting it mixed up with because Miami's about to have their reunion. I think, and that's
Oh,
what I'm
why?
thinking about. Yeah, and I haven't even caught up on the most recent episode of Miami yet, but oh Lord, Larsa Pippen. That is somebody I was trying. I was rooting for her. I was really rooting for her, but she is not doing herself any favors at all. And it's just and poor Gertie, like, I mean, like, Gertie's going through a lot, and dealing with this whole cancer battle, but, I mean, she's a fighter, she really is, but, I mean, but for Larsa to be so shallow and just so just I mean, oh my gosh, but I didn't even realize how different she looks from years ago than how she looks now. I didn't realize how much plastic surgery she had and work she had really gotten done. Now I'm not a hater of it because I'm for one. I'm like, you know what? God put these people on earth for a reason. I'm like, and if plastic surgeons is who they become to help people look and do whatever they want to do themselves, then so be it. Now, do some people take it a bit too far? Yes, I agree. I think so. However, she doesn't look anything like she used to look. And she looks like a whole
I can't hear you.
Yeah, I could.
It's like you're muted.
Oh, yeah.
oh, okay. I don't know how that happened, but yeah, I had like a little that I was muted, Um, that's what I was saying, yeah. So it's like Larsa looks totally different from, she looks so different from how she used to look. So I don't know if this has always been her personality or if, what's her name? I keep forgetting her name. The one she's a friend of. Is it Adriana? That's a friend
Yeah.
of? Um
Hmm.
And she always tells she's like, "Ever since you were around the Kardashians and you got on with the Kardashians, you've never been the same." So I don't know if that's like rubbed off on her or what, or if the face got to her. I have no idea, but it disappoints me. But I mean, look what she did. She pulled Michael Jordan's son. Scotty Michael Jordan's son. And it's just it's crazy, it's wild, but I mean, they seem to be in love and seem to be happy. It's just I just wish that she could be better than what she has been. So that's been a bit disappointing. But oh, good lord! But Bravo's been great
Have y'all
lately,
watched
though.
Woman Traders?
Oh, I did. I started watching Traders. Yeah, I'm actually I didn't see it last season,
Oh, that's
but
really
this season I'm watching it and I'm actually really liking it. Blair's watching it too.
it's been really
I just
interesting and
started watching and I
fascinating, and
watched all the first
I think I still to
episode.
watch episode 3, but I've been enjoying it.
Yeah, it's good. I like it.
I like the people
It's
they
very
have. I
good.
like the cast they have on there. It's just entertaining,
Hmm. Yeah, and I heard
and
about like the ranking the
it's
I
okay.
heard the ratings had gone up like 75% from like compared to last season from when it had originally aired. So it looks like it's something that's catching on. So is it only on Peacock or is it on Bravo too? I think it's just on Peacock.
I don't know. It
I
might
think
be.
so.
It's probably just on Peacock.
Yeah, I think it is. I think so. But I do like that they brought Real Housewives of Miami back to Bravo though also. I do like that they did that because
Yeah, they
they
did.
saw that the reboot had just gotten did so great on Peacock. I'm surprised that they even got rid of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, not Beverly Hills, of Miami to begin with. Oh, I was surprised that they did away with
Yeah,
it when they did. I guess the ratings weren't that great. Is that what it was?
I think so at the time.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe that's what it was.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I could see that, but it's been good. But what I love about it is the fact that no matter how much fighting and bickering that these women may go through, when somebody is going through it, they're really great about all coming together to support each other. Except for Larsa, it's minus Larsa, they're all good about just like really coming together and banding together. And so um that's the thing I like about them a lot, especially like whenever Lisa went through her whole thing with Lenny asking her for a divorce and finding out that he'd been seeing somebody else like the whole time, and then the hot Mike Lenny that was wild. Part of me thinks I'm like
Yeah,
I think he did that on purpose. I think Lenny did that. I think he was very calculated with it, and I think he did it on purpose. And he knew that he didn't care that he had that mic on him, and I think he was taking advantage of that. That's my theory. Don't know
mhm,
about y'all. That's what I think. That's my theory, and I'm sticking
yeah,
to it.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
I haven't
So,
really watched
any
this
more
season of
news,
Miami
y'all?
yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you've like, it's. I mean, it's I've it's good. I don't think it's as good as it was last season. Gertie's storyline though, it's great. It's just so
Yeah.
sad though. But you see, like she's got such a strong family
Oh,
and she's got
no.
a great husband. Like Russell's awesome. He's an
Yeah,
awesome guy, very stand-up dude. And like I mean, they've been together since high school. And I
yeah,
feel for her and her family. So I'm hoping and praying for the best for them because that is
me
not
too.
a tough road, and her family's been through a lot. Like, she lost her brother and her nieces, like, it was like an earthquake years ago. And
Yeah.
so, just so much, but she overcomes and everything. Any more news topics? Anything floating around? Anybody coming your way?
I don't think we about covered it as far as I'm
Um,
like, as far as I can remember or think of right now.
Yeah, what about you,
I
Amber?
know
Anything
Gypsy
else?
Rose was getting a lot of backlash from
That's
her
right.
ex-boyfriend's fans.
Yeah, so I wonder
Oh, I think you
if
froze for a second.
Oh, it did freeze for a second? Okay, yeah, probably so. Yeah, no, I think I wonder if it's this weather that's been with the connections lately. I think that's what it is. I think it's this cold
Could
weather
be, yeah.
that's kind of making the internet and everything a little late and behind. But I wonder if to me not John go to John. It's his last name's go to John, but I keep forgetting his first name.
I don't remember his
But
name, yeah.
is it Matthew? Maybe his first name's Matthew. I can't
I feel
remember,
like
but however it is, I can't remember. I always forget his first name, but
I feel like
I didn't
it might
realize that
be
he was
that one.
autistic. Yeah, he's autistic, so I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
I think
me
that plays
neither.
a big yeah, a
Yeah,
big
obviously
role
it
in
plays
it
has a lot to do
also.
with it. Yeah.
Mhm, but it's like I'm curious. I'm curious to see what things are going to look like, but I don't know. I have a feeling it's either gonna go, but that's how life is. It's either gonna go one way or the other. I'm curious to see how things end up with Gypsy. If my thoughts are that she's going to become a little bit more famous out of this. She's probably gonna try somebody somewhere is gonna give her a platform, I think. And I give it about a few years, a couple of years, and I think that she's probably gonna leave her husband because I think she's gonna realize that he's controlling. Because if you notice and observe, like he's very controlling, and he's probably like that. Probably because, and then I mean, look at how he found her. He wrote her as a pen pal, like to prison. So he strikes me
Yeah,
as someone who probably hasn't dated much, and who and people probably would just kind of like treat him like a bit as an outcast. I could see that. But whenever she's like on Nick Vile's podcast, I just noticed how it's like he would cut her off, or like he would jump in to like to speak for her, and he's done that on a few interviews I've seen, or
mhm.
like a few like little news segments and everything I've seen him on. But it's it'll be interesting. I have a feeling that she's probably gonna end up doing her own little glow up, if anything, and then and just be like, bye bye, you're too much for me, you're too controlling, and like give it about maybe like about 2 years and then move on. That's my guess. But I don't
I
know.
can
But
see
I'm
that.
glad she's with her dad, and her dad seems to like her dad and her stepmom and her half sister just seem to be so different. But yeah, I'm glad you brought up Gypsy Rose because that was that'll be interesting to follow and see how that plays out and where things go. But so that is
Yeah, seeing
very,
that she
very
wanted to
interesting.
have
That'll be
kids,
very fun.
so I was thinking, like, what if she had a child and then something was wrong with it and everybody, like,
Oh, I
started
didn't think
questioning
about
her?
that.
That would be
Oh,
terrible.
I didn't think about that at all. Oh, to see like if that Munchausen by proxy, if it passes on. That is
Oh
a very
yeah.
good thought.
Mhm.
I didn't think about that at all. Ooh, that's good. That's really great, Amber. Oh, you've got me really thinking now. That's
Yeah.
Or
interesting.
if, like, something actually is wrong.
Mhm.
I mean, God forbid
I
something
do
actually be wrong
Right.
with your
Oh,
child,
exactly.
but if
yeah, I would hope, like so supposedly the good thing is she's, like, getting therapy. I'm glad about that because at first I was hearing that some relatives of hers were concerned that
Mhm.
she wasn't getting therapy and that she didn't want it, but it looks like she's actually actively getting therapy still, and she has been getting it, which is great because I think that for all that stuff that she's gone through and experienced, that she does need it, in order to have some type of rehabilitation. But nope, that makes me very curious. I would hope, and I would think that with her being surrounded by the right people, that if she does have kids, that I think that I don't think she would do what her mom did. I would hope not. I would hope not, but that's a very interesting thought.
Right.
I didn't think about that, but that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, oh boy. But on that note, y'all, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up, and we're so happy to have you. We can't wait to
Yeah,
have you
thanks for joining
again.
us. That
It'll be
was
so much
fun.
fun. Get some more pop culture and we actually everybody we are going to do another recap episode. Well, not another recap episode. We're going to do an episode for, of course, we recapping Vanderpump Rules. It's about to come back and we're
Yeah.
going to recap that premiere when it comes out, when it airs. So super excited for that. And yeah, just we're on Spotify, Apple. Also, I'll tag Gossip Klass. I'll tag Amber's stuff. Put up her links for her Instagram and her TikTok, and of course YouTube. And go please like, follow, subscribe to her pages. Everything she's got is like so much fun. We're excited, so happy to have her on for our first collab together,
Yeah, thank you
and
for coming.
can't wait. Looking forward to the
Thank you.
future. Yes. So, all
Thank
right,
you.
y'all enjoy. Have a great saying. Yes, and we'll see y'all soon. Goodbye.
Bye.